I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible.
Welcome back to Media Anarchy. I am Captain Obvious. Welcome to my New World Order Update 2019 series. I've already completed the first 3. If you have not seen them, go to my homepage, and at the top you'll see a list, New World Order Update 2019. The second half of this update will consist of 3 parts, and I will put those individually to make it quicker and easier for people to just get right to the point of each topic. They will address the top 3 activities or agendas of the New World Order, which is the one world religion, the one world currency, and the one world government. And I'm going to touch all 3 of those. My job is to simply validate the truth. Validate it. Vet the information. Look at it as a detective would look at a crime scene. Gather evidence to support the claims and decide whether or not the theory or conspiracy theory is actually true or not. Is it true or false? Can it be accepted? Is there enough evidence to prove without a shadow of a doubt that this is in fact true? If not, then I have to collect evidence to debunk it. The second part of my job is to present the evidence and argue it. Argue if there's enough there to argue the facts in which they are. It's not my fault that people can't accept it. It's not my fault that there's a lot of people out there that are not ready to hear the truth. Well, if you're not ready to hear the truth, then why are you looking for it? Truth seekers want to know what the truth is. Problem is, a lot of truth seekers are either know-it-alls and don't want to be wrong, or they can't accept the truth for what it is. The world is an effed up place. I'm sorry to put it like that, but it is really screwed up. It is, the world as we see it is not the way it should be. Okay? It's not the way it should be. Life is fudged. Okay? And it's up to us to try to have a better understanding of what's going on and why, so we can stay out of the way when specific events occur, and we could be the ones in the Badlands working together to create a better atmosphere for the next generation. Okay? It's not our job to be the soldiers, unless called upon. So today, I want to discuss the one world religion. That is today's topic. In the next couple days, I'll do the one world currency, and then I'll do the one world government. Some people are not going to like what I have to say about the one world religion, because when it comes to trying to understand the concept behind the New World Order's one world religion, you have to accept the evidence of how it got there in the first place, which within that evidence, we have other evidence to prove that your beliefs are nothing more than that. There is not much truth, if any at all, to any of the religions. When we look back at the Roman Empire, which the Roman Catholics, that's a whole different thing. When we look at the Roman Empire, we find details, and I've gave this investigation before, details, and it's in my religion list. The truth about holidays, those are facts. Sorry, I can't apologize for the truth. All holidays are false. Period. Why? Because they are. The Vatican was in control of everything back in those days. They send their clergy out to all the different churches to push their propaganda. When we all know the Catholic religion was based on Constantine, not Jesus. And it is the belief structure is a combination of Gnostic or agnostic and paganism. And when you study each of the holidays, you find that they're rooted in something wicked. See, what religious people don't understand is their devil likes to dress things up and make it look pretty. Like Agenda 2030 and the Georgia Guidestones all look good on the surface. So I hear this all the time from people. Well, what's wrong with trying to sustain, God's creation of the earth? There's nothing wrong with that. But do you read the fine print of how they're going to get to that point? You know what depopulation means by the billions? I don't think you understand. These people are wicked. This is a beast system. I hope I've said it enough over the last couple of years on this channel. It is a system, not a being. But there is going to be a leader. Okay? This, I'm going to show you, we're going to tackle some of these subjects, but we're going to go look at some things. How this all gets started as a conspiracy theory. Back in 2015, I was a part of the Chemtrail Club. And this is before I started looking into all the other stuff. And the truther community on YouTube was huge at the time. And it went absolute batshit crazy when this happened. The very first time ever in American history, there was a UN General Assembly addressed by the Pope and by the President of the United States together. What made this conspiracy theory even worse is that a lot of videos were done on YouTube, and here is a list of all the videos. This is on YouTube. If you want to pause my video and write these down, or just go look them up for yourself, you can look up Pope Francis, Barack Obama, New World Order Tour in YouTube, and you'll get hundreds of thousands of live footage. Now I'm sure there's probably a lot of fake ones in there from the shills, frauds, clickbaiters, fearmongers, and all them people. But there are some investigators that took the map. Okay, they took the map and they marked all the spots that they visited, and they drew a line, and it drew a perfect pentagram, just like when you look at Washington D.C. from a drone footage, you'll see perfect pentagram. Same thing in London, same thing in Great Britain. It's all over the world. And you'll also notice that most, if not all, Masonic temples are built on the 33-degree ley lines of the earth. They all match. They're all lined up. So everybody says, some people might say, well, is that where that 33 degree come from? No, that's not where it comes from. 33 is the base root number of 6. So when you try to decode the Bible, 666, I've been over this several times. You have to find the least, and it's not gematria for those fools. It is the least common denominator that's not a whole number, is 2. 666, 222, and then you have to find the least common denominator that multiplies times 2 to make 6. That would be 3. And how do you check that? 2 plus 2 plus 2 across equals 6. That's how you check that. It's a very simple algebraic equation, making 3 the root of 6. Now, or for you math, whatever you want to call you, I don't know, math masters or whatever. I know 3 is probably not the root of 6, but biblically it is. Okay. Once you hit 33 degree, you learn the truth about their Luciferian agenda to create this beast system. And if you don't take the chip, then you're pushed out into the Badlands, which is all this federal land that we see land grabbing in Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. those who do not comply will be pushed off into the Badlands to survive on your own. It'd be like Mad Max Thunderdome. It'd be quite like that. Some people will be taken to FEMA, but the rest will be shipped off. You'll have no choice but to go there anyway. So let's get back to the original. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a foundation so you have a better understanding why this is coming. Religions want to say it's the beast, the devil, Lucifer, the false prophet, the Antichrist is coming. But what you don't understand is all of that resembles a system of control for humanity. It's not a being, it's not an entity, it's not a spirit. It is a system created by many, by legion. Many people working for the greater cause of this control. Okay? And it is coming. Most of it is here. It's just being prepared right now. So this tour was all about presenting the New World Order in a more physical appearance. Because if you look back, all the way back to the beginning of creation of television, retardovision, the brainwash propaganda campaign, okay? Ever since the first television was put into the house, every president since then has spoke of a New World Order. And that's because the Constitution was designed after the 1723 Anderson Constitution of the Masonic Order. It was a New World Order. This was a new world. America was a new world, and they were bringing a New World Order to it. So people didn't look at it as a bad thing back then. It's a new world, New World Order, blah, blah, blah. Now it's turned into something demonic because it is. It is a system of control. That doesn't mean that there aren't some people involved that don't mean well. But anybody who sets out to control human beings is very, very evil and wicked. Okay? And you can't tell me that there's not evil, wicked people in this world that hate people enough to just not even care about them that work for government. Okay? Politicians do not have your best interest at heart, or they wouldn't be doing the shit that they do now. So every president, you can look this up on YouTube for those of you that are still questioning. All you have to do is put in a president's name and say, says the New World Order after it. And every president has mentioned it somewhere along the lines. Barack Obama didn't call it a New World Order. He called it a world order. So this is what this is all about. Why is this important now? Because just recently, the Pope is right now working hand in hand with Islam, the Nation of Islam, to create a one world religion that is part of that New World Order. Now, this was being discussed during the Pope's visit to America and addressing the nations. He brought 3 world leaders from 3 different religions together to talk about combining the 3 religions, and there was pagans and the pagan religion in there. And you could see, if you go back and look at the videos on YouTube, you can see the look in their face. They were scared to death and they knew they were done. So this is happening right now. So I just want to go over this document real quick and mention just a couple of things, and I will leave the link below so you can go through it yourself. Like Rome, the Quran, invented by Rome, declares Jesus a son of Mary and not the Son of God. That key word right there. Like Rome, the Quran invented by Rome. If you look into my Truth About Holidays and Religious Facts by historians who have been, misplaced, disappeared after their evidential whistleblowing religious thing, they prove by looking at Roman history, all the religions were created by the Roman Empire. Why? Because the nations were rising against Caesar. And they had devised a plan to divide and conquer and create order out of chaos. All this, you hear all this all the time in the conspiracy world, but what people don't understand where that comes from. Most conspiracy theorists really don't realize where it comes from. It comes from Rome. Divide and conquer. What do I always say? A nation divided cannot stand united. So they could not stand united against Caesar because their religions told them to love thy neighbor and love thy brother and love thy enemy. And he who cast the first stone, you are full of sin. It's all hogwash. Okay? There is no evidence proof. It's brainwash. And people that are brainwashed don't know they're brainwashed, and they don't like hearing that because they don't want to believe for 1 minute that they've put their faith into BS their whole life. Okay? These profess to hold the faith of Abraham, and together with them they adore the one merciful God, mankind's judge on last day. And just as the Roman Catholic Emperor Adolf Hitler hated blacks, the Vatican-controlled Islamic people hate blacks because their Quran says this. This is what the Quran says. I'm not making this up. The Quran says this. In the great and final day of redemption, only white faces will be saved, and all blackened faces will be condemned. Why? Because as a human race, we are still from separate bloodlines. Do you understand what that means? Science tells us we are derivatives of these different Neanderthals. Okay, these ones were black, these because of where they lived, and these ones were brown because of where they lived, and all this different. Do you understand how many different designs of human people are on this earth? You have your European whites, you have your South African whites, which are a total different race. Then you have your Oriental or Asian. Then you have African. Do you know there's exactly the same amount of different human races as there was fallen angels that came down on chariots of fire in the book of Enoch? According to the book of Enoch, 200 came down out of the sky on chariots of fire. These gods, these aliens on ships. And now we have 200 different human races. So when you put 2 and 2 together, it's like, the truth clicks, but I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe that at all. It's not about aliens and flying saucers. This is about beings from someplace else. Doesn't matter if it's another dimension, another planet, another galaxy. It does not matter. It's beings from someplace else. You can call them angels from another dimension. You can call them demons, fallen angels from another dimension. You can call them whatever you want. It is what it is. A chariot was something that carried human beings from point A to point B. So that's what they related this to, because it was carrying beings from point A to point B. And why were they on fire? Because they were lit up. Those are UFOs, unidentified flying objects in history. And they brought beings from point A to point B. They called them gods because they taught them war. They taught them magic. They lusted after human flesh, and they had these giant babies to build the pyramids. This is all fact. I can't argue something that I can't prove. So, the Roman Catholics taught that Jesus created birds from clay and gave them life at a riverbank, waiting for his mother as she did laundry. Not possible, because that would cause the Bible to be contradictive, because God created the birds of the air and the fish in the sea. So, this is saying Jesus came thousands of years after Adam and Eve and created birds. You see what I'm saying about religion? It's false. Every bit of it. Okay? Moving on. So I did a little keyword search, Pope working with Islam to form one world religion, and thousands pages, YouTube videos, all kinds of stuff. Pope pushes for one world religion. Well, that's just the Pope doing it. That's just the Pope doing it. Pope is the false prophet. Okay? Let me see if I can find that. I didn't even think about doing that, but I'm going to do that right now. The Pope sitting in his chair with upside down cross. Say Pope throne. I spelled that wrong, didn't I? Pope throne. Throne inverted cross. Okay, I seen this a while ago, and I should have shared it. This is not anything that's been photoshopped. This is the Pope's throne. It's an inverted cross. Satanic. I mean, do I really need to keep going over the all right. Anyway. One world religion. One world religion refers to the idea of an establishment of a single global religion formed by a merger of all existing religions. Okay? This is in Wiki. You need to look at it. Right here. Here's the symbol of all of them. Look at this. Look at this. Even Wicca is in there. Do you know what Wicca is? I was dabbled for about 15, 20 years. Okay? It is a subset of witchcraft which is directly connected to Satanism. Okay? They don't worship a Satan. Okay? It's more of energies, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, and power, and self-godliness, and being able to create your own. It's all... I don't even think they realize that it's a satanic, to be honest with you. I think they're brainwashed by the concept that it's earthly, and it resembles Native American heritage a lot too, but it's not. It's not. Okay, now moving on. Excuse me. This is a video. Actually, these are pictures, but I shared this video a while back. This is a building. This is the Rothschild reptilian connection behind the deep state. This is a building, okay, in the Vatican. Look very closely. This was deliberately designed to look like a reptile, a snake, like that snake in the Garden of Eden, or that reptile in the desert, or that dragon over Asia. It's all connected to reptiles. Why is Lucifer directly connected to reptiles? Well, there is a reason. Because according to ancient scrolls and different details I found in the Book of Enoch, these gods on chariots of fire that came down from the sky resembled snakes and alligators and crocodiles and things back then. The reptiles back then, they just weren't called reptiles. Back in those days, men of old didn't revere to them as reptiles. They were just snakes. Okay, so these people look like snakes. So you're talking about reptilian aliens. If you want to get technical, I'm just stating the obvious. Okay, so let's look at this picture here. Exact replication. The symbolism. Downfall of money, power, influence. The bite has no cure. NSA. Here's the video. So, this is the map. Let's see what I'll leave a link to this too. See, in the Vatican, it has no Jesus and no Mary. No way is that Christian. So what is it? Do they do child sacrifice there, bloodletting, pedophilia? Sure they do. And we're going to get into that in just a second. No, yeah. Let me show you the proof. Elders of Zion, hidden in plain sight, the Rothschild family has decided now for the major conflict claw planning bath before the Pacific Rim. The beast of Revelation of John gets his power from the old serpent. The beast in the Revelation of John gets his power from the old serpent, the devil, the reptile. That's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. I can't make this stuff up. I'm just stating the facts, stating the evidence, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Now, do you remember Catholic priest abused 1,000 children in Pennsylvania? 300 Catholic priests. And that's all you heard about it because there was thousands of people speaking out. Doctors examining these people and showing rapes. They've been caught. But get this. Get this. The grand frickin' jury said that while some accused priests were removed from ministry, the church officials who protected them remained in office. and even got promotions. One bishop reported vouching for an abusive priest, now the Archbishop of Washington. Yeah, so the Catholic priests get to go around molesting all these children. Does that sound Christian to you? Now, I'm not saying all Catholics are bad. I'm not saying all Catholic priests are bad. What I'm saying is any religion that allows this is satanic, Luciferian in nature, and I don't give a fudge who you are or what you think. That is a fact. And that's not the only religion. Let's keep rolling. Albert Pike. Take a look at this picture here. I'm going to pull this up. I went over this before, but I'm going to add it this time. 33-degree Freemason. Right here. Illuminati initiate. Right here. General of the rebel army during the Civil War. Has a statue in D.C. This tells all about him in Wikipedia. Here's a statue. You know, you talk about all these people pulling down the rebel flag when it had virtually nothing to do with the Civil War at all. Even black people in the South will tell you that the idiots up north believe that garbage they're brainwashed to believe. I've talked to enough of them. Okay? They're taking down all these statues and all these flags and shit. Look over here. His statue still stands in Washington, D.C. Okay? Not only is he a rebel general, okay, he was also a Freemason who was also an Illuminatus. Okay? Wicked evil hierarchy KKK. Okay? And they still have his statue in Washington because too many people are brainwashed. Okay? Who is he? Albert Pike wrote the 3 World Wars before he was killed for doing so. Why would he do that? And did he have a spiritual awakening at the last minute? Let's go over it real quick. I've been over this before. We're going to go over it again real quick so you understand what the one world religion is. This is the end of this video. Okay? Albert Pike's letter to Mazzini, dated August 15th, 1871. This proves this New World Order has been planned for a long time. The First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overflow the power of the czars in Russia and of making the country a fortress of atheistic communism. The divergences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the British and German empires will be used to foment this war. At the end of the war, communism will be built and used in order to destroy the other governments and in order to weaken the religions. They have to weaken the religions to form a one world religion. And they have to destroy other governments, which is what they're doing now. Going around the world destroying other governments. You see it going on. Communism. Communism is a country without a proper constitution. Our First Amendment rights have been eradicated. I've already proved that. So obviously, this has begun. The Second War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. What do we see going on? During the Second World War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. Hang on to your ass, because we've already done all that. We've already done all that. Oh, I shouldn't say we. Well, we've allowed it. Okay, so yeah, basically we did all the first part, we did all the second part, and we're in the process of doing the third part. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused between the Agenars and the Illuminati, between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, which we see going on, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical and moral and spiritual and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilist and the atheist, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and the most bloody turmoil. Then everywhere, citizens obligated to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude delusioned with Christianity, whose deist spirits will from that moment be without a compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration. They will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. Brought finally out of the public view, the manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity, atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. Old world order loses power. New world order begins. And that's where I'm going to leave this one, folks. I hope you're waking the fudge up to the truth and you're taking those red pills every day so you can stay awake. And I hope you're detoxing from all the chemicals that we have been put in our bodies since birth. And I hope you're cutting yourself off from all the brainwashing BS lies from politics and religion in the mainstream media. And I hope you're sharing all these factual, proven, evidential videos with all your friends and family when they question the truth. And I hope you stick around for part 2, which will be the one world government. Not part 2, I'm sorry, part 5, excuse me. Part 5, the one world government. And after that, I'll finish it off with one world currency. So thank you, God bless, and I'll leave the links for these below, and have a great day.